Welcome to Ray's Tea. In this kind of video, we basically have a really chill chat about life and growth mindset, like a podcast, but also I'm journaling and you're journaling. So today I want to talk about regrets and possibly throwing out the idea of regret altogether actually, and the benefits of adopting the idea that everything happens for a reason. Whether you're religious or not, hear me out. Let's go on a little journey. Grab your tea, your coffee, put in a little milk if you're into that shit, and let's reflect. By the way, for those of you watching on YouTube, there is a special little gift in the first comment if you want some paper backgrounds to use in your journal entries. So just check that first comment. There will be a link where you can download that. It's the end of February now, and 2 months basically breezed by me. I really want to start the habit of monthly reflection. Actually, not only monthly reflection, weekly reflection, daily reflection. I've been much better than I was last year, but yeah, it's basically March and I'm just reflecting on January, but that's okay. Habits take time and I have compassion for myself. I can really feel the change already setting in. I can really feel the habit becoming a habit from now, you know? Regardless, I started out the year quite strong, in a way, depending on how you interpret that phrase. I traveled to the other side of the globe, to Taiwan, to meet my partner's family and work on improving my Chinese for Lunar New Year.
觉得明天没有时间，还有星期五我就去下去台中，所以现在是我最后的机会可以买东西。
It's kind of crazy how I ended up doing that though, because like in 2021 I was super certain that right now I'd be living in Taipei actually, and instead I live in Sweden with a Taiwanese boyfriend instead somehow that I met here. And I almost feel like Taiwan and I are star-crossed lovers destined to be together somehow, but not be together, you know? And my journey with Taiwan really prompted me to think about the concept of regret and the opposite of regret, which is the idea that all things happen for a reason. And yeah, I feel like my biggest lesson or my biggest reminder from January this year is really thinking about how there is like a string of fate that kind of influences our lives, and how healthy, how much healthier I feel leaning into that belief and allowing myself to lean into that belief. So actually my first time going to Taiwan was also for 3 weeks, but I went by myself when I was 17 to learn Mandarin. I had made sure to tell everyone I knew I didn't want any physical gifts for Christmas or my birthday, and I worked after school in my parents' store to save up. It was not easy convincing my parents to let me go to Taiwan by myself, but they did always want me to learn Chinese, so there was that on my side. Anyway, after I got there, I fell in love with Taiwan, and it soon became my favorite country. Like every time someone asks me, where's the best place you've traveled to so far, I always say Taiwan, even though I didn't have the longest experience with Taiwan. Just something about it felt like home. It was modern, yet not too modern. Like it still felt like a place that was in touch with the world, like down to earth, where people were very human and connected, but at the same time it wasn't like the middle of nowhere. It wasn't out of touch with modernity either. There was a really nice balance going on. And then also as a Chinese-Jamaican going to a culturally Chinese island where, you know, I don't know, there's just something that made it feel like home, like I had a strange spiritual connection with Taiwan. Since going there in like 2015 or so, I've never gone back until January. Like, it's crazy to think it's been 7 years because I talk about Taiwan all the time. Like, Taiwan has consistently been on my mind since 7 years ago. I've considered going to uni there, I've considered moving there, I've looked for jobs there multiple times, but the tides always took me somewhere else. Yet now, here I am in a serious relationship with a Taiwanese person who I randomly meet in Sweden, of all places. And you know, this is not like the only situation in my life where I can show myself that one thing has led to another, or the way that I expected something to happen didn't happen, but yet I still find some kind of really interesting connection, or one thing catalyzes another thing that I could have never expected, you know? I promise, if you go back and look at your life, you're also going to find strange connections, catalysts, and themes. You're going to notice that things that you defined as failures, things that you swore were setbacks, the gods laughing in your face, were actually key moments in your life, pushing you towards things you wouldn't have noticed, or at least would have stalled from entering your life. There are a lot of things that we really can't explain in life. And like one of my favorite quotes from Brené Brown states, if you search for evidence, you will find it. And what she's trying to say is that we all use our frameworks and beliefs to view our world. And that means that your perspective is really your truth in life. If you look for evidence of negativity, if you look for evidence that the world is empty, that it's void of purpose and compassion, that it's regretful and sad, then that's exactly what you'll get up and see every day. You will be able to find counter arguments. You'll be able to tell me that, well, of course you ended up in Taiwan. I mean, if you had that connection, then you would be looking, there's things that you can say. And if you look in the opposite direction, if you look for evidence that there are no mistakes in life, that everything you do, every time you fail, every time you fall short, there's a reason. That there's a force guiding you. Your days will start to have taste, a flavor, color. And you'll start to have compassion for yourself. You'll start to look at failures, look at mishaps, and like direction changers in a completely different light. What I want to do in this conversation is I want to give you permission, dear listener, to believe in something you're not sure about. I give you permission to adopt the idea that failure is not only forgivable, but powerful. I give you permission to believe that there is a God or a force, the universe, that is leading you, that is sitting down thinking about you, that is watching you and putting bricks in your way when you go towards the wrong thing, writing your story on parchment and paper, breathing life into your footsteps. I want to give you permission to believe in something that sounds crazy. In this age of information, and I mean, I've had such a roller coaster in my journey for mental health and in understanding my life and all the things that have happened to me and all the things that are happening to me. And at one point, logic has been a great friend, a great coping mechanism. But in other ways, logic has been a stop point for me. It has been something that prevents me from seeing my truth, you know? I want you to really consider for yourself. Just take a minute to step away from everything that you've believed so far and consider the point. What's the point of your logical pessimism? Logic requires objectivity. Logic is neither optimistic or pessimistic if you're being honest with yourself. Logic can be the bright side and it can be the dark side, but we tend to look at logic often as being pessimistic, as paying attention to what could go wrong or what is more likely. But the truth is that we don't have the answers, and so it may be to your benefit to lean into the thing that can actually have a positive impact on you. Your logical pessimism, will it help you to strengthen your world, your life, your path, or would it help you to work to let it go? You get to decide how you look at your world, how you interpret your environment, how you create your happiness. It's up to you. And you don't get a prize for holding on to ideas that seem somehow more scientific. Science is also a dogma, you know. This is simply to urge you to consider that perhaps leaning into some things, leaning into some beliefs can be more helpful to you than what you've always done. And then you have permission to do that. Your life is your own, your heart is your own, your path is your own. I say no regrets in 2023. But it's up to you.
Secret entrance.
Well, that's the video today, folks. If you enjoyed it, if it touched you in any way, and if you made it this far, comment a heart or anything else you'd like to share with me. And yeah, if you want to share some ideas on regrets, I would love to hear it. I'm going to be turning this series also into a audio podcast. It will be available, you know, where streaming things are available. So look out for that. I hope you had an amazing journaling session.